Hello again today. I'm going to be talking about my next project, and in the future I'll be talking about the projects that I'd mentioned in the previous videos, but I'd found that I had left one item out that I wanted to get to next, and that's called a battery eliminator. Now you're probably wondering which one of these parts is going to be part of the battery eliminator, and I can point out that the wooden dowel is the one that's going to help me with that. We're going to turn a wooden dowel, which is naturally an insulator or a non-conductive material, and turning it into a battery, a AA battery. And in doing so, therefore bypassing even rechargeable batteries or everyday use alkaline batteries. Sometimes you'll find that some of your devices, they use way too many batteries, and in doing so, you want to find a way to eliminate them by hooking them up to a power adapter. And in doing so, no longer finding the need for AA batteries. First off, you're going to want to determine the voltage of a given device. By example, I have a device. It is a game camera. It uses, I don't want to say, like maybe 8 AA batteries. Now you'll find that game cameras are notorious for consuming batteries. Even rechargeable ones have to be recharged quite often. So you'll want to convert it over to adapter, unless your game camera already has the adapter for it. So you'll find that in doing a little bit of research, that is going to be a certain voltage. I can't state the voltage for my game camera because each one device different based on different models. You'll find that the voltage might be at a different level based on the number of batteries or type of batteries. So moving forward, you'll want to measure the size of the battery that you're using. It's AA. This one is 50.45 mm. The conductive ends are going to be a couple of thumbtacks. You're going to wire it positive and negative side to this adapter connector, DC. This is a DC, AC to DC power adapter using solid core wire, not multi-strand. You'll find that the wire accepts a certain shape. Once you start using it, it holds its shape. Using a multimeter, you'll be able to determine which side is positive and which side is negative. And lastly, you'll assemble the item using a hot glue gun. So first off, like I stated, you'll want to measure the dimensions of the battery. This one is 50.45 mm. Okay, so you'll take your battery out of the way. Make sure to tape the bottom of it if you're going to measure the dimensions of it. And now you'll find that it'll get very angry and very, very hot, and it'll spark in bridging its gap. It'll arc over, possibly killing the battery and making it hot and killing the battery. Okay, so I'm going to move this item out of the way. You'll take your dimensions and you'll measure this dowel, which I believe is a certain dimension. This happens to be a 1/2 inch dowel. You'll transfer your dimensions over of 50.45 or this given distance, so long as you lock it down. You won't have to have your multimeter on. With the lock assembly, you can keep these dimensions as needed. You'll cut it just slightly short of 50.45. When you add the thumbtacks, it adds just a little bit more. So let's just say 50.42. The spring of the device will make up the difference, which is usually located on the negative side of the device. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll take your dowel and you'll cut it at 50.42. You'll strip an end of the solid core wire, making a small hole close to center on the dowel end. Once it's cut to the given dimensions, so you'll make a small pinhole in one end and then the other. Cut the length of your solid core wire so that one end fits into this given end. You're going to have to strip back the insulator and insert it into the pinhole that you make. Once you measure 50.42 over, plus the allotment that you'll have to make for the bend over the end. So it'll be a little bit longer than 50.42. With a little bit of experimentation, you'll find that the wire is actually just a little bit longer than 50.42. It'll go over the end. It'll follow along here. You'll make another bend and strip the end and insert it into the bottom pinhole. And in doing so, you'll bridge the gap between positive and negative. That's going to be for the battery that you're going to be using it next to, in the slot next to it. But for the actual battery that you're going to be making, you're going to be connecting one end. Let's just say this end could be possibly positive. So you're going to run a wire from that given end down to your power adapter, stripping the end and inserting it into the adapter connector on the positive side, and then taking the other end of the wire. Okay, so you're going to be connecting the positive end once the insulator is stripped back and inserted into the end. Okay, and then doing the same thing with the negative side. You're going to be cutting a length of wire dependent on the application of the actual device and the distance from the device to the adapter. I'm saying undetermined length because by my example, I actually used about 20 feet worth of wire, solid core wire. Or actually, you could even use multi-strand speaker wire of a gauge of approximately, I'd want to say about 22 gauge. Okay, so you'll take your thumbtack, insert it in the end, and tacking it down with hot glue. Right here on the positive side. Then you'll do the same thing on the dimensions 50.42. You'll insert a stripped end into this end, and then you'll use a thumbtack and some hot glue, and you'll tack it to the end. So essentially you're going to have one wire running from here, one wire running from here. Okay, and in doing so you'll make your battery eliminator. I'm going to be pausing the video, and we'll call this, or I'll be ending the video and calling this video 1. Here's just a build of materials. Your adapter. AC to DC with multiple voltages. Thumbtacks and a quantity of 2. Your power adapter connector. Multi-strand wire. A multimeter. A hot glue gun. And a digital caliper. And of course, you'll want to measure your battery with a taped end. And you'll want to use a 1/2 inch diameter wooden dowel. So thank you for now and appreciate your patience. Bye.